this video we're going to talk about using Maya native nodes as part of an Octane shading network. And for this video I'm using machinery_01.ma. I'm going to select this surface here and apply a glossy material to it, and then let's open up Hypershade and graph materials and selected objects. So we have this glossy material. Let's move this out of the way a little bit. Okay, so a good example of this might be using Maya's ramp node, which is a little bit easier to use than the Octane gradient node. So I'm going to go into the Maya nodes, and under 2D textures I'm going to click on the ramp node, so Maya's ramp texture. And for the glossy material that's applied to the surface for diffuse, I'm going to click on this checker box and I'm going to find the Octane image texture and choose Octane image texture. So this is a standard 2D image that you would use for mapping a bitmap onto a surface. But if you take a look in the texture attributes, down here there is a baking input option. And I can actually middle mouse button drag the Maya ramp node on top of the baking input, and you can see now it's applied to the surface. So if I go in here and start adding colors to the ramp in more of a Maya-centric kind of way, you can see there's the ramp being applied to it. And let's say that I want to apply the ramp based on a projection as opposed to the UVs, which is kind of messing up the gradient on here. Let's say I want a gradient going right across the surface. I'll select that image texture node, and then I can add a projection node. So maybe I'll try the Octane box projection, and you can see now it's applying it in one direction, which looks a lot better. So what is going on here is that it's not actually using the Maya node directly. It's using the image texture. What the image texture is doing is it's baking the Maya ramp into an input that Octane understands. So it's actually baking it every time it renders. This means that sometimes it might not update correctly. So if it's not updating correctly, you can go into the OctaneRender settings and set frames to precache to 1 and then 0 again, or like I've done, create a shelf button that does the same command. This command right here. So that way, if it's not updating, you can press this button. Sometimes I've noticed that you need to reapply the material to the surface to get it to bake correctly, so if you make a change to it. But either way, that's the approach for using Maya nodes. And so, others examples you could use, say, Fractal Noise. So if I go to 2D textures and I'll go to my Maya nodes, and under 2D textures I'm going to click on, let's say, noise. I'll put this as the baking input. Move this out of the way, and now you can see there's the noise. And it's also going to slow down renders a little bit, so you have to keep that in mind. If you have a lot of these in a scene, it's probably going to slow down Octane quite a bit. So you probably want to use this technique sparingly and only when you have to. You can see I can change the settings on the Maya nodes, and it updates.